Right, Dr. Charles, please stay with us. We are actually getting more details which are coming in about Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's death. Now, Iranian state media on Sunday confirmed the death of Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei without referring to a massive US and Israeli attack on his residence. A presenter on state television announced Khamenei's death as the channel broadcast archive images with a black banner as a sign of mourning. Now, 86-year-old Khamenei had been Iran's supreme leader since 1989. According to Iran's state media, Khamenei was killed in early hours of Saturday. Iran's supreme leader Khamenei was killed at his office. Now, a 40-day mourning has been declared in the country. Earlier, US President Donald Trump had announced Khamenei's death. He called on to the people of Iran to take over the country. Trump also asserted uninterrupted bombings will continue for a week. Now, these are the details that we are getting in, that the state media, Iranian state media, has confirmed the death of Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei without referring to a massive US and Israeli attack on his residence. And 86-year-old Khamenei had been Iran's supreme leader since 1989. An Iranian presenter on state media announced Khamenei's death. And now we are going back to Jyotsna Kumar. Jyotsna, can you please get into the more details?
Yes, absolutely. Of course, this is the latest that we know. Of course, it is yet to see, as our guest just said, Dr. Kaptan just said, that of course we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I would actually, it's also interesting how, this had been, of course, one of the statements coming from Trump from long before, months ago. He wanted the regime to be changed. Is that the next question? That's the next question. Does there is a regime change, and if Trump has this idea of who's going to take over, or he has an idea of who's going to be the next, a leader, we'll have to wait and see. As of now, this is what we know. And of course, he was at his workplace, and this announcement has been done by First News Agency that announced the death. What earlier, of course, state media had announced the death of the daughter, son-in-law, and granddaughter. And of course, this is of course, you'll have to wait and see the consequences, because he has been the one. And, we had the president, Pezeshkian, we had the foreign minister, but somehow anything that happens, even in negotiations, whenever it happened, between U.S. and Iran, somehow those talks were always being approved by Supreme Leader Khamenei. Now, he's that kind of leader, and that's big. That's big for Iran. What happens next, we'll have to wait and see the reactions that come in. But so far, of course, that is the latest that we know. We have some we have a post, the latest post that Khamenei's official Telegram account has just now posted. It says, among the faithful are men who fulfill what they have pledged to Allah. There are some among them who have fulfilled their pledge, and some of them who still wait, and they have not changed in least. Now, this is, of course, from the Holy Quran. This has been posted by Khamenei's official account. Of course, there will be high alert across, what happens next in all these Gulf states. How do they react? And is this all that U.S. actually wanted to go for? And what kind of reaction comes in from Israel? Israel was the first one to announce it, but then even after announcing, they had, of course, launched more military strikes on Iran in different places. Dr. Kaptan, I'd like to come to you. This is a question, of course, what happens next, but what would Trump, was this the goal that we know of what U.S. wanted to go for? If you could also give us some insights, or maybe a reflection of what happens next from the U.S. side. How will U.S. and Israel react to this?
Well, I think before this attack began, it was uncertain what kind of military operation Trump would go for. I think there was a guess that he was going to start small, go after military targets, command and control, perhaps some of the ballistic missiles, then pause and say, okay, are you ready to negotiate? Are you ready to give up your nuclear program and cut back your ballistic missile program? But clearly the consultations that he's had with the Israelis, with the Saudis, perhaps with others in the region, convinced him to go for the big goal of toppling the regime, of doing something that no American government has been willing to do since the Islamic Revolution in 1979, and that is to try to get rid of not just the supreme leader, but the entire Iranian government. And I do think that this is a kind of gamble that I don't believe that the Trump administration or the Israeli administration has a clear sense of where we go now. I think it's apparent from the events today, as well as the American-Israeli attacks that occurred last year, that Israel has deep penetration of the Iranian government. The strikes today occurred at a time when a meeting was taking place with the supreme leader and key other leaders, the defense minister, other key figures in the Iranian government. Apparently, they have all been killed, and that suggests very timely intelligence about what was going on the ground in Tehran. That ability to know the day-to-day movements of these leaders, when they were meeting, where they were, does not suggest that there is a clear plan that says, okay, this is what we're going to do now. And my best guess is that both Israel and the United States are hoping that what will happen is that there will be a popular, grassroots, spontaneous uprising among an Iranian population that has been suffering economic deprivation, suffering political repression. Most Iranians know someone who was killed in this crackdown against the Iranian regime, the protesters. And so I do think that the idea here is that the regime was at a breaking point, that this attack is pushing the regime over the cliff, and that now the Iranian people will take destiny into their own hands. Maybe it will work. It didn't work in Iraq. It didn't work in Afghanistan. It didn't work in Libya. Maybe this time it will work, but at this point, nobody can predict what's going to happen today, tomorrow, and in the coming weeks.